Thank you. I'll begin by telling you about how I twice met with Efim Rachevsky in my life. Once we met in the smoking room of a seminar where we discussed nanotechnologies. We talked for maybe 5 minutes, and it was way back in 1989. And he was so excited, his lights lit up, and I knew he was not the usual kind of schoolmaster, but somebody unique. I met him again when I had the honor to guide people in charge of Moscow's education across the best schools in England that are part of the program Schools of the Future. It was in Bristol. The Labour government in England financed a program for equipping schools with state-of-the-art technologies. Just 40 or a bit more schools were re-equipped, and unfortunately the new government looks likely to close this. We were in one of such schools, a school for children with special needs. There was just a few wheelchaired children, and even more teachers than there were children. And his response was that of a shocked person. We also saw a school play, Romeo and Juliet. Juliet was in a wheelchair, but 5 minutes from the beginning of the show we forgot about it. She was so good. I'm thinking back to the 1980s. There was this school project initiated by Gorbachev's government, which was to install computers in every Soviet school. And the ministries responsible for producing computer technologies said that this was nonsense, there was no need for that. I was a biologist at that time, and I had one of the first computers that anyone had in this country. I remember a time when I had a printer machine, and I had to make sure my neighbors didn't know about that because they thought it was suspicious. But in my school, we were the first to start a program of having children telephone their peers in other countries. I can remember people saying that the internet was bunk. And look what has happened over this time. 20 years, 30 years, what a change. It took, let's think historically, it took life on Earth 4.5 million years to establish the biosphere around this planet. It took another 1 million years for living things to develop into what Vernadsky called noosphere, the sphere of the mind, or thinking humans. Now, we witness the growing of the infosphere. It started some 50 years ago. By infosphere, I mean the sum total of all the informational resources of this planet. If you want to know how a particular word translates into English or Chinese or something, you just Google it and you get it immediately. If you want to buy an air ticket, you do it over the internet and you get the cheapest fares. We see a planetary brain being formed. So the noosphere is developing this infosphere. And we're not talking about specific things such as smart boards for classrooms. We are talking about giving access to our children to the infosphere. What we have at present is the access from the infosphere to our children, but not the other way around. But just think about it. Today, there are maybe 1,000 different places where 1,000 groups of people sit discussing things similar to what we are discussing here today, but each one of us is separate. Or think about children in a school who had a class in botany with 25 children learning the structure of leaves and stems in a plant. But also thousands and thousands of other children at the same time, on the same day, were learning the same thing. Now, there might be a system of networks between those classrooms, the wires, but there are no connections yet. I might say that our children are wired but not connected. But this is going to change very soon. Schools are still surrounded by strong walls. Teaching and learning are still regarded as an enclosed process, something intimate. We still hope and expect that children will learn from their teachers. Instead, they talk to each other, they tweet and they chat. So instead of all the old educational technologies of lecturing, testing, and so on, which are obsolete. And our teachers are paid not for having children learn something, but for giving them teaching on that. Technologies arrive in the schools, and it's really very simple. I remember once reading about industrialization in Soviet Russia. When the first tractors arrived in Soviet farms, people would harness horses to a tractor and then put a plow in the back and work it that way because they couldn't see any other use for this machine. This changed, and the same thing is going to happen to Russian schools. Our schools will very soon have those smart boards, and that will be a huge change. It will no longer be a chalkboard, but in fact a computer screen behind the back of the teacher. And through the internet, they will have access to the whole world. It's a window onto the world, and the teachers will have to change. Another thing to be regarded is the health and productivity of teachers. For instance, 10% of British children, British teachers, have a microphone around their neck, a small and compact thing that allows them not to strain their voices. They talk for 5 or 6 lessons a day. Isn't that a change? School is going to change. And it will happen very soon because new technologies are arriving and because the community wants something different than what it wanted before. The word knowledge in Russian has 2 meanings. It's different from content skills and process skills. And the Russian word knowledge will have to be differentiated in those several things. Technologies today make audiences react interactively. My daughter is not aware that I'm going to dial her number right now, but I just did. And I know that on the other end of that wire, there is my daughter and her friend that they are spending time together with. There are so many older people here, grown-ups, girls, and they all want to know if you have any things that you would like us to discuss or any issues that you want to resolve. Nothing you don't know yet? What do you think about the length of summer holidays? Do you think 3 months is a good time, or perhaps should be longer than that? What I liked is their responding with, "We'll have to think." One thing they complain about is needing to show up in school at 8 o'clock